On is money just a game? So new thread from 6529, one of the most influential writers and thinkers in the space of crypto. He's running a college class in the metaverse, which I'm personally attending at UNIC. I don't want to say the name fully because I forget how to pronounce it. I'm going to get it wrong, but this dude's doing pretty much all the coolest stuff. It's like super Web3, and he's just posted a new thread, so let's check it out. Is money just a game? For most people, it's a huge struggle, but the people who make the most money tend to think of it as a game. Can we thread the needle and figure out why both people are right? We will try. Okay, let's go. A common question among Manhattan finance professionals is, what is your number? The number is meant to be the number at which you have enough money to retire and not go to the office and so on. It is not a normal question in most parts of the world, but polite enough in NYC. What is the number at which you would retire from your finance job? I mean, finance jobs probably are so boring and stressful that all you think about is how soon you can retire, so I'm not surprised. Non-New York City people will find the New York City answer to this question to be obnoxious. By the time people are in their 30s and doing well in finance, it's unlikely that the number is less than 20 million. How can that be? I mean, I feel like if you're living more frugally in America, you need a couple million to like have your whole life covered, ignoring inflation. 20 million seems pretty high, but New York City is super expensive. Here's the math. You want a nice 3-bedroom family apartment in a nice neighborhood to raise your kids? 5 million. That's what, New York City? My brain just went blank when it said 5 million to raise your kids. Like, Jesus Christ. Private school for 2 kids, 18 years plus college, 1 million per kid, total 2 million minimum. Entry level home in the Hamptons, 3 million. This is the least relatable thread of all time so far. That leaves 10 million. Assume inflation eats away 2% per year back then, not now. You have a safe-ish return of 3% post-inflation, $300,000 pre-tax, 100,000 post-tax, etc. It sounds ridiculous to anyone outside that context, but if the question is taken literally, you never work again and you have to run the rest of your life on that money while living the high-end New York City professional lifestyle, you probably need to do something around 20 million up front. Man, I'm really glad I don't worry about that. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. And note that this does not give you the hyper deluxe high-end New York City professional life. It gives you entry-level high-end life. As people get richer, you heard 50 to 100 million floated. Yeah, well, if you consider your yacht, then you're going to need at least a cool billion, right? Holy shit. A note for the audience, lest they get too excited about job opportunities in New York City. This is not exciting me. This is a depressing thread so far. Most people who said 20 million for the number never come close to it. That's the thing. People who obsess over money sometimes aren't that good at it. They may have the life above, but by working their butts off every year until retirement. Yeah, they think about this and they work till they're 82. What I want to say is the number was a bit of a parlor game, a way to release the stress of working 80 hours a week, a chat over your 4th martini, a way to daydream. You can enjoy the adult goodies of New York City without the office grind. Hang on, the dog wants to get outside. You're good, Benji. Go ahead, pup. You're good. I was once asked this question fairly young in a job interview by a billionaire. I froze. Do I say 20 million? Humble man of the people. 50 million, more ambitious. A bigger number, delusional. I fudged and said, but I would never stop working. Okay, this is some wild shit. Some rich people shit that I barely understand. Entry level, high-end New York City life. Yeah, sheesh, dude. In any case, this is all nonsense. Nobody ever stops working, whether they make it or not. You cannot fill the hole with money. You have to fill it with love. This is covered here in great depth. Okay, great job. Good job. One day I had a friend from out of town, a normal person with a normal job in a normal city. I asked them, what is your number? They were a bit surprised because normal people don't ask rude questions like this, and they blurted out 1 million. I thought this was all very charming and sweet because it's what normal people say. I am a millionaire. No one asks stupid questions like this in the real world, so no one checks the math. Asked some follow-up questions, and we went to dinner. I mean, 1 million's not really enough if you live in a first world country, right? Like, if you are talking 50, 60 years, I mean, even by yourself without a family, 1 million would start to run out 20, 30 years, in. I mean, it's a lot of money, but 20, 30, 40, 50 years is a long fucking time, Anyway, while I was having this discussion, I had probably 50,000 in my bank account. I guess that's more reasonable, but even that's not relatable for a lot of people. But that is, that's obviously more reasonable. This was a parlor game, a thought exercise in your 20s and 30s, not an actual thing that people who actually have 100 million think about. Yeah, I've only ever gotten to spend a lot of time with one person who was in the tens of millions plus like wealth club. I was a personal assistant for a very rich guy, and he definitely didn't give a fuck. But he was like 70 and he was living. He was doing business. That's the thing. The guy I knew who I was a personal assistant for, who was still doing business and was genuinely very, very rich, he was trying to keep going. He didn't want to retire early. He wanted to go, he was 71, 72, still living that life. You know what I mean? Like, he was living. He was fucking living. I mean, dude had it fucking lit. Great apartment. I think he still does. I haven't talked to him. I haven't kept in touch. But so anyway, I believe that tweet. In any case, back to the thread. We were at dinner chit-chatting, and I said, anyway, none of this matters. Money is just a game anyway. Why am I wearing headphones? Now my friend got pissed off at me. What do you mean money is a game? Do you realize how hard I work? If I lose my job, I'm out on the street. Oh boy, I have done it. How do I handle this now? We were having a perfectly nice time at dinner, and now I look like the jerk of the year. Every single thing my friend said is true, but what I said was also true. Here is the answer, my answer to this question. As with all framework questions, it is partially right and partially wrong. My goal, as always, with frameworks is not to convince you if they are right, but to give you a tool that might be useful. My brain is working in overdrive, but I think I'm following along. Let's keep going. For the vast majority of people around the world, money is not at all a game. For real, dude. For real. It is highly stressful. Many people are 1 to 2 to 10 to 20 paychecks away from disaster, from things that will ruin their lives. Responsibilities, they work hard, they care, and they barely get by. For those of you in those shoes, please know that I agree with this view, and I agree that this is how your life is. Hey, what are you trying to say? You call me poor? What I'm here to tell you is that this is how the game is set up, is how it is set up to function. Money is many things, but for today, in the context of a capitalist society, I want to focus on a specific thing. Money is an information processing and distribution system. Read that a zillion times. It is very important. Stay tuned for the Mr. Beast style video where I'm going to read that sentence 10,000 times in one video. Money is an information processing and distribution system. That's kind of a fancy sentence. Money is an information processing and distribution system. I don't know if I get it yet. Okay, let's keep reading. No society is perfectly capitalist or centrist / communist, but to use some stereotypes, a central planning system has a group of people who decide what is needed in what quantity across the economy, and a capitalist system uses price signals with quotes around it to communicate what is needed. Our current capitalist system has many flaws and areas for improvement. Maybe some parts of crypto can help, but the idea of using prices to communicate information is a great idea. Economy nerds, we're going to assume away externalities for another day. Okay, keep going. What do I mean by prices? Imagine that everything about New York City is the same, but you owned the only pizza shop in New York City. That sounds potentially scary. The demand for your pizza would greatly outstrip your supply of pizza. Happy times, you raise prices and start stacking up the profits. I just don't think I'm built for that situation. I'm not the right guy for that job. I don't know how to run a pizza shop, and I don't know how that works. But wait, me, aspiring entrepreneur, waiting in line for my $20 slice of pizza, starts to do some math. How much do rent, flour, tomato sauce, pizza flippers cost? $2 per slice, $18 profit per slice? Time to drop everything and launch the 6529 original pizza. See, this guy knows how to make some fucking money. If he's the guy who doesn't even own the shop, he's still got a plan. This dude knows how to do it. We'll sell the slices for 18 a slice and make 16. And then someone else will sell slices at 15 over and over until a bunch of stores fight to sell you a slice of pizza for $1 to $5. I heard that the dollar slice was kind of dead now because of inflation. It's like $1.25 or $2. Okay, here's the important part. On average, the average pizza slice shop and its owner and its employees are just about getting by. Money does not seem at all like a game to them. They are working all day near a hot oven, cranking out the slices, and they do meh okay dollars wise. None of the people working in this shop are at any risk whatsoever of making $20 million, even in their wildest dreams. Is it because they're not bright? Is it because they're not hard workers? Is it because they are less worthy? No, none of these things at all. The reason that the average pizza shop and pizza shop employee in New York City do just okay is because selling pizza in New York City is just about as close to a perfect competitive market as you will find in a big city like New York City. Product/pricing is clear, and barriers to entry are low. If anyone is making excess profits, someone else will come and compete with them, offer the same product for less, and steal their profits, so the market settles into crappy slices for $1, okay slices for $3, deluxe slices for $4 to $5. I feel like deluxe slices cost like $7. You can make a living slinging slices in New York, but on average you won't get very rich. This is the capitalistic system working exactly as intended. The system is meant to return excessive profits to the consumer, not to the greedy businessman. So in other words, instead of enabling a pizza shop owner to get rich, it's supposed to make pizza cheaper for you to buy it and enjoy it, in theory. So yes, it might suck to work all day and only be able to sell your slice of pizza for $3. But on the other hand, for everyone else who's not working in a pizza shop, it's awesome to get a pretty decent meal for $6 in the most expensive city in America. And to the degree that it's happening in other fields, it is good for the pizza worker too, because everyone else is fighting to win market share, improve quality, and reduce costs in every other industry too. So pizza workers will also buy better products for less. And that concludes your capitalist propaganda for the day. Okay, so what? This classic microeconomics, assuming away all the cases where it does not work as designed, corruption, bad regulation, externalities, and so on. Where is the game you're talking about? This just sounds tough. A rat race, the grind. This is a deep one, so I wonder where he's going. Where's the punchline? The game is this. You will only make good money if you find a way to avoid perfect competition. This applies whether or not you are running a business or running your own career. You have to find a way to have something people want that's not easily copied. You'll only make good money if you find a way to avoid pizza shop in New York City style perfect competition. The game is learning to read the price signals. Money as an information processing system is designed by society to deliberately send messages. Lots of profits means to send more societal resources here. Lots of losses means to take away the resources from here. This is an excellent guide, system, and game, but to have a chance of succeeding in it, you have to know the rules of the game. You have to read the price signals the way they were intended to be used. Okay, I feel like I'm following along. You have to go where the price signals tell you we should be sending more resources to. Like, that's where you're supposed to go in theory, I think, is what he's saying. If you find that you are dissatisfied with the salaries people are offering you, so far I'm doing okay, but let's keep going. If you find that you are not happy with the income your business is earning, we're just getting started, we're doing okay. You have to detach yourself from your emotions, detach from but I need money from X for X, and put a different lens on. The lens you need to put on is, why is the game sending me this signal? So why are you not getting opportunities? I kind of get it, I think. To me, it makes me think of music. It's like, if I make my own album, it could be cool, but there's a lot of albums, right? So it's hard to get people to listen. If I just play the drums, a lot of musicians need drummers. So as a drummer who doesn't have his own album, it might be easier to get someone's attention if I just play the drums and put beats up on YouTube, because then they'd be like, yo, can you play in my band? You know what I mean? Like, or playing guitar, it's kind of hard because there's a ton of guitarists, whereas playing bass, there's not enough bassists. Like, it's like whatever people need and isn't being used. It seems kind of obvious, but I feel like that's sort of what he's describing. Maybe my example there was fucking stupid, but I tried. Let's keep reading. This is a whopper. Hang on, let me sip. I'm hydrated. Let's go. The lens you need to put on is, why is the game sending me this signal? Generic answer is, of course, the game is not valuing your contribution as much as you would like, because there's either no demand for your service or lots of supply for your service. Or another example of this, I guess, would be like, There's lots of Twitch streams, so it's harder to get people to watch your Twitch stream, but there's not enough YouTube shorts. So if you post YouTube shorts, it's easier to get attention. I don't know. I'm trying to find examples. The generic next step is figure out what I can change about myself or my business, or maybe I should be in a different field altogether. And you filter for, are these good ideas? How much supply is there relative to demand? I mean, that's like if you're super experienced or knowledgeable about blockchain, right? Because people don't know enough. So that's like something that's like, I'm doing pretty good since I have a lot of blockchain experience. At a personal level, this is easier and more satisfying. The generic answer is add skills. The more advanced area or answer is add skills in different areas until you're a 1 of 1. Yeah, I like that one. There are lots of, say, bookkeepers in the world, and they earn perfect competition type of salary. Not bad, not great. There are very few bookkeepers with crypto expertise, and they earn a much, much higher salary. I suspect there are close to 0 bookkeepers with crypto and NFT expertise who know off the bat how to account for looks rare tokens and nouns PFP. Yeah, that's probably true. I wonder how many bookkeepers or accountants on Earth can explain how nouns work. A bookkeeper of this type can basically name their rate because they are a 1 of 1 unique person in an area with demand and money. Note that this is not some type of super duper challenge. The person who has learned to prep financial statements has all the cognitive power needed to learn how to look up OpenSea transactions on Etherscan and figure out the debits and credits. It might take 6 months max. And yet, I am sure there are millions of bookkeepers worldwide who are dissatisfied with their current income, and probably less than 25 who can do NFT bookkeeping with no supervision or training. It's wild if you think about it, but these types of market inefficiencies happen. Now, in time, the market inefficiency will close. More bookkeepers will learn how to read Etherscans, and their billing rates will normalize again. But that will take years. You'll make a lot of money until that happens, then you go on to the next thing. One thing that Dilbert guy Scott Adams says is right about is that it's easier in your personal life to build differentiation by adding skills horizontally. Being the top 1% of something is hard, but being the top 25% of 5 things is much more manageable and might be just as good. I mean, that's definitely the flux strategy. There's no question. Being reasonably good at a bunch of things is definitely my strategy. So hey, maybe I'm onto something. The same rules applies to business, but it is much harder. The average bookkeeper does not think like this. You can find the gaps. The average successful business person does think like this, so most obvious opportunities are already gone. In fact, the risk in business is to think like this, but in practice be a mid. You think you found a market gap, but most of the time you just have not understood something about the market that the better players know. I lost a lot of money this way. I had many different careers, roles, businesses, and products. It's very hard in business, and when I was younger, I made a lot of mistakes, usually of the type above. I thought I found the market inefficiency, but it was a mirage. In the NFT space, a lot of people, particularly the artists, are somewhere between having a career and running a business. Very clear what you have to do to avoid perfect competition. You have to develop a distinct voice or style. Easy to say, hard to do. Good luck. Do it. Do it. Just do it. Just fucking do it. Do it. Avoid perfect competition. Don't let it stop you. Get rich. That was a pretty good thread. I like that one. I knew it would deliver. These things are always bangers.